السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How are you, my students? I hope you are all well. Are you ready to our lesson today? Who's ready? Wow, all of you. Excellent. Let's continue our lesson today about Surah Al-Buruj. First, we have dua. We will read the dua in Arabic, then in English. وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. O my Lord, advance me in knowledge. For this dua, you ask Allah to increase your knowledge. For the dua, we said you can say the dua anytime you want. It's no specific time for the dua. Your target today to recite the verses of Surah Al-Buruj from 8 to 11. First, we have revision about Surah Al-Buruj. Last lesson, we finished 7 verses from Surah Al-Buruj. Who can read the verses of Surah Al-Buruj from 1 to 7? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والسماء ذات البروج واليوم الموعود وشاهد ومشهود قتل أصحاب الأخدود النار ذات الوقود إذ هم عليها قعود وهم على ما يفعلون بالمؤمنين شهود. Who can tell me what the meaning of the verses? Do you remember the rules of tajweed? نون and ميم مشددتين. Who can tell me again? Let's recite the verses. Today we have the verses from verse number 8 until verse number 11 from Surah Al-Buruj. We finished last lesson the verses from verse number 1 until verse number 7 from Surah Al-Buruj. Today we will continue and using the rules of tajweed. We will recite the verses and we will follow the rules of tajweed. Who can read the verses? We read the verses in Arabic first, then after with the meaning in English. Here, I want you to listen to the verses of Surah Al-Buruj. You will press the link, then after you listen to the verses from verse number 8 until verse number 11. Let's continue. Today we have rules of tajweed. Rule of mushaddada, noon and meme. We can say meme and noon mushaddadatayn. we have the rules about noon and meme مشددتين. You will watch the YouTube, then after you will follow the rules of tajweed. I want you to apply the rules of tajweed for noon and meme مشددتين on Surah Al-Buruj. Who can tell me one verse in Surah Al-Buruj has rule of noon and meme مشددتين? Who's excellent and tell me? What's the meaning? Some meaning from the verses. What's the general meaning of the verses of Surah Al-Buruj? Let's read the general meaning of some verses in Surah Al-Buruj. The disbelievers burned the believers and kept looking without mercy because they believed in Allah alone, because the believer believed in Allah alone. See, the disbelievers burned them, so Allah promised them that they would punished on the day of judgment as a result about what they did, about their actions. Your plenary today, I want you to search about مشددتين نون and meme from Surah Al-Buruj and recite the verses of Surah Al-Buruj from 8 until 11. I want to also you to revision about the verses of Surah Al-Buruj from 1 to 7 and from 8 to 11. I want you to recite the verses and apply the rules of Tajweed. Thank you, my students. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.